Well, hello. My name is Joel Hammonds. A lot of people know me as Davy Hammonds. I'm wearing my work uniform basically. No, I don't wear plaid every day, but my little pins, black and blue. My ID, Mississippi State Penitentiary ID. These flags, of course, U.S. and CPF, Correctional Peace Officers, um, with the CPF emblem. Anyway, I'm a little nervous doing this. In fact, I haven't done this before, so I guess it's the first time for everything. I am a pastor, let's see, for 30 years now, and a chaplain for 16 years, endorsed by the Church of God Chaplains Commission, and been serving at the Mississippi State Penitentiary that long as a chaplain. Started off at the penitentiary as a volunteer in 1994. Had a remarkable experience where God spoke to my heart about me being involved in prison ministry. And from that encounter with God speaking to me about being used of Him out there, I had to keep going. And it led to a position eventually because they needed to hire chaplains, and I was already a volunteer, so I said, well, sure, I'll apply. And it has been, got on 2002, December, it has been the most affirming, blessing experience I've had. It doesn't seem like it's been 16 years. I am very grateful to have had these years to serve God. I am 60. It's hard to say. I'll be 60 in August. I have 2 children, wonderful wife, 39 years now. And so, I mean, that's basically all I want to say about myself. As I have stated, my current ministry is with the chaplains, or with the Mississippi State Penitentiary, but I'm also serving as an interim pastor to a local congregation that is looking for a pastor. I guess they're still looking for a pastor. So I'm trying to fulfill, I don't know, a call in the sense of pastoring still. Chaplaincy is different in many ways than pastoring. And I am grateful for this course of leadership because I haven't stopped before to even think about what being a leader really is. That's one of those things that we all think we know until we're stopped and try to put words to what we think we know. So I am grateful for the information that we're being exposed to and these discussions that we're attempting to engage in. The difference between leadership and Christian leadership, I believe, is like night and day. I have both benefited and been disappointed in those that I looked up to as leaders in the secular world and the church. Sad to say, I mean, just to be truthful, I'm not here to bash anybody, but I've seen examples of good and bad. And then, of course, there's always those that are kind of moderate, kind of in between, which I think if it's Christian leadership you're talking about, then it's bad. I mean, it's bad. I've seen positions become what people believe is their right to lead. But as we are already learning, I know I'm supposed to give my initial thoughts, but hey, you can't lead without followers. And so I've never seen myself too much as a good follower. I follow, but not really good. So I've got to make it some way in leadership, or I'm I may crash and burn one day. But it has served me well, this mentality, this concept of standing out front, leading responsibility, a position of responsibility, not just, when I say position, I mean understanding that God calls us all to be used of Him in different capacities. And I like to think of my position as more of a liaison position. I do have responsibility of 16 inmate religious assistants who have earned an accredited bachelor's degree in Christian ministry in prison and now serve as assistants to chaplains, which, of course, I supervise. Kind of peculiar, too. I'm trying to finish my degree. It dawned on me that I'm supervising all these IRAs and with no degree, no completed degree myself. So this is one reason I've chosen to get back in school. But I have found over the past few years that this is really this is okay. I do suffer from dyslexia. It is a learning disability that I've had to learn to cope with only late in life. I didn't find out until just about the time I started as a volunteer chaplain at the prison. And oh, what a blessing that a dear teacher in her home, when I was painting, I used to paint and remodel houses, and she, a fine Christian lady, was hurt when I started talking about how much I hated school. And so she taught me something about having dyslexia and how that I can overcome it. But I can say that it was God's hand, especially when I get up and I'm nervous and preach. I tend to stammer, as you can tell. But anyway, God helped me overcome that. And when I began the classes, I was very afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it. So, but each class, I'm doing better. My grades are showing that I'm doing all right. My daughter is an alumnus of Lee U, and she said that students would kill for my GPA. Oh well, I'm just thankful to God. He's my blessing. He is the blessing. Biblical passages. Certainly one I am fascinated by is where Moses talks to Joshua, first chapter, and he speaks about being encouraged. Be strong and courageous, for you will distribute the land. Above all, be strong and very courageous, to carefully observe the whole instructions of my servant Moses, that my servant Moses commanded you. Another one that I will refer to quickly is over where Paul was talking to Timothy in, strangely enough, his second letter, 2 Timothy, the first chapter again. So do not be ashamed of the testimony of our Lord, or of me, his prisoner. Instead, share in suffering for the gospel. Share in suffering, a suffering servant mentality. Christ exhibited that, of course, many places in the Gospels. And I think Paul got it. He understood it. I want to understand it. I want to get it. I want to allow God's power. It says, or of me, his prisoner. Instead, share in the sufferings of the gospel, relying on the power of God. Relying on the power. I can't walk into a prison without the power of God, without His protection, without His grace. I can't step behind a pulpit without the power and grace of God. God leads me that I may be in a position to lead others. It won't be of anything I've done of myself. Leadership is not within me. It is within the very nature of who God is in me, through me, to draw others. I mean, after all, it's Christ who draws people to Himself, not we ourselves. If I were capable of drawing people to myself, then what would I have accomplished? They need eternal help. And that comes, as I do too, it comes from God. It comes from His ability to use us. I want to be willing. I believe that's what really a leader is. I can't really come up with any questions about what I have concerning Christian leadership in this course. I'm just open. I'm just willing. I want to be used of God very much. And I'm very grateful to be a part of this. I hope this suffices.